The 11th straight lost postgame show, I would know what to say, but I don't really know what to say anymore. The Coyotes haven't won a game in 30 days, and that's where we're at. So thanks so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes postgame show. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah here with Petey. We got Danielle behind the mic. Craig is going to be calling in from Mullett Arena shortly. For the first time in 4 years, the Toronto Maple Leafs defeat the Arizona Coyotes. You know, the Coyotes have to let them have one once in a while.
Yeah, and I guess we don't get to hang the banner this year. That would be the Leafs.
That's the biggest disappointment.
It is a disappointment because there were moments in this game, but not in the first 10 minutes, but there were moments in this game where the Coyotes were able to skate with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I thought there were glimpses of, especially in that second period, where the Coyotes came out. They came out strong in the start of the second period, and they played really well. They limited the Leafs to 3 shots. They get those 2 quick goals. Keefe calls the timeout, and the Leafs were a little bit rattled. Unfortunately, for the I don't know how many games in a row, this Coyote team finds themselves behind 5 minutes into a game. And it could have been 2-0 if not for Hunter Cherney and another offsides call, but really that just prolonged the agony. Because they added the Auston Matthews adds his 50th from a horrific angle. Like it's by the goal line. I like Veggie made some great saves. Veggie did a lot of really good things, but he's got to make that one. He's got to make that one at that time in the game, too.
And the whole game could have been different.
It was 1-0 at that time. The first goal, he literally had no chance. It's a tip-in goal from behind him. I wish Josh Brown would have been under stick there. We talked so much about being under sticks, and it's just it's an area that this defensive core has really struggled at, and I think that's an example of that. But then Vejmelka's got an opportunity to make a big save against one of the best players, the best American goal scorer of all time. Like, he's the quickest to 50 of any American ever in the game. Where's he from?
Oh, he's from here.
From Arizona.
Yeah.
Just somebody said that. I just want to make sure that those in Toronto understood that their best scorer, their leading scorer, their MVP is from a city where they want to have hockey removed from. If you remove the hockey from here, you don't have Auston Matthews. Okay, that's not all I had to say to Toronto fans. But that's a shot Karel Vejmelka's got to stop. So now it's 1-0 at that point, and you feel you're in it, and then all of a sudden it's 5 minutes in the game, you're down 2-0, and then it's hard to climb out of that one.
There seems to be a formula to the Coyotes games lately.
There is.
Allow 1 to 2 goals in the first 10, be down, have a really good second period, go into the third thinking, we can win this. And all the air out of you let the balloon go, like the balloon is filled with air and you let it go and it goes.
And that's how they looked like they played again tonight, didn't it?
It did. And it's funny because Andre Tourigny this morning at the morning skate said, I wouldn't call the game against Edmonton a collapse in the third period. They capitalized on all of their scoring chances and we didn't. But I guess the definition of a collapse is allowing
capitalized on their chances.
Yeah, I mean, that is the definition. So it just keeps continuing to happen. And we talked about this the other night as well, how many goals the Coyotes give up in the first 10 minutes. Yeah. And we actually had to add 2 to that graph tonight. Again. So let's take a look. It's not 32. It's not 34. It's now 36 goals that the Coyotes have allowed in the opening 10 minutes this season. That leads all teams. And by the way, 36 goals, right? That was game 56. So I know, and that's more than, it's not just 1 in the 10. Like, obviously there's a lot there, but that's like more than half of the games if you're going to even it out statistically.
But we've talked about this enough, and here's the frustration. If the same thing keeps happening, you've got to find a different way to approach that first 10 minutes. And one of the things, it's funny because Leah and I actually were at the Mullett tonight. We rarely go, but Leah, I, and Craig were all sitting up there. And they score a minute and 56 in. But prior to that, the Coyotes get the puck down in the offensive zone in the first 30 seconds of the game. 2D pinch. Toronto Maple Leafs throw the puck up the ice, and if not for a lucky bounce, they had a 2-on-0. Like, how do you give up a 2-on-0 30 seconds into a game when your mandate is to have good starts? I don't understand it. I don't understand how there isn't something before you hit the ice going, hey, we're playing the Toronto Maple Leafs today. This team is fast. They score all the time. Let's buckle it down for the first 5 minutes. We've struggled in the first 5 minutes. Let's buckle it down. We're not going to pinch. We're not going to pinch in the first 5 minutes unless you're 100% sure in keeping that puck in the net. If you're not, we're going to stay back. Like, I don't understand, because you can't continue to play 2 and 3 goals behind. You can't. Not against teams that are this good offensively. So if they could have shut the gate, and maybe you give up the 1 in the 5 minutes, maybe you give up 1. But when you make it 3-0, and then they rally back in the second, well, guess what? If it was only 1-0, now you're ahead and you're playing with more confidence. And it seems like you're chasing the game all the time. And you just can't have success when you're chasing a game against teams that are better than you are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Ooh, let's take a look at the numbers presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes. Shots on goal, 36 for Toronto, 26 for the Coyotes. Leafs, 2 for 5 on the power play. Oh my God, that first period penalty. We'll talk about that in a sec. Coyotes, 1 for 3. Hits, Coyotes had 35. The Leafs had 21. Shot attempts were actually pretty even. Leafs had 66. The Coyotes had 64. But Petey, the penalties.
The key is the penalties.
And that was your key to the game before.
It was. It was the first thing I said.
Yes.
Of all of the things up there, the Toronto Maple Leafs have the second best power play in the National Hockey League. And you get good power plays because you have more than one scoring threat. They have several scoring threats. They got 88, 34, 16, and when Riley's there, but he's not now, and you got 91. Like, those are all guys that can score. So guess what? Don't take penalties. And don't take penalties that you can control. And I'm going to say this, and Nick Bukestad, we know he's my Minnesota man crush. We know the way I feel about Nick Bukestad, but I have no idea, like zero ideas, what he was doing on the 2 minute men on the ice penalty. There are some that, guy's going for a change and he just missed him or he left a little early. There are 5 Coyotes on the ice. There is not one going towards the bench. Not one going towards the bench. And Nick Bukestad just jumps out on the ice to defend. I honestly don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what was going through his head. I don't know what was said on the bench. I've never seen a 6-on-5 that was that blatant. They played with 6 players in the defensive zone for 30 seconds, and they still didn't get the puck.
That was crazy. That was one of those too many men where it's not like, oops, he stepped on the ice.
Yeah, and he stepped back off.
Like, blatant. And it was funny because if you scroll Twitter, like, everyone was tweeting screenshots of it. Like, what is going on? It's just those preventable mistakes. Yeah. And then
they score on that because off the next faceoff, off the 2 minute man in the ice penalty, dumbest high stick, somebody takes a 4-minute penalty. So that's your 5-on-3
for 2 full minutes.
And that's the third goal of the game.
I don't even know where really.
No, and it's a problem.
Sorry,
here's where the frustration. Again, I'm talking about frustrations. It's because it's the same things. And it's the too many goals in the first 10 minutes of the game. It's too many penalties. It's too many penalties that you can control. Again, who is the most penalized team in too many men on the ice penalties in the National Hockey League? It was the Arizona Coyotes. Why? Why is it year after year that they take this many too many men on the ice? I don't understand. I honestly don't have an explanation for it. I don't know how you continue to take. It's unbelievable that they've taken so many too many men on the ice penalties. It's just mind-boggling to me. I will say this, though. In the second period, they had a push. So I don't know what was said between periods. I don't know what they did to get started in the second period, but they actually had a push in that period. And I think you saw a little fire. I think you saw the feet moving. And I thought you saw, with the big first goal to get them back on the board, was an unbelievable play. Great pass. Bukestad gets the puck, the turnover at the red line, carries across the blue line. Great pass to Matias Maccelli. And something we didn't see from Maccelli a year ago is patience with the puck and then taking a shot. He was always looking for the pass. This time he's patient, shoots and scores. Gets the first goal of the game, and I think that started to turn it around.
Yeah, and because he scored the first goal of the game, and he was not a minus tonight, Matias Maccelli has that desert dog in him with his goal and his plus status.
And so everyone at home, say it along with us.
1, 2, 3.
Matias Maccelli. There he goes.
He gets things going, and then Barrett Hayton, he scores his 3rd goal of the season. Barrett Hayton has not scored in a while. Obviously, he was out with injury for a while. He just came back, but he hasn't scored since November 16, 2023. So that had to feel good for him. Redirected that Alex Kerfoot shot. So Barrett Hayton gets on the board, and then Dylan Guenther continues. I mean, I think Dylan Guenther has been impressive since he got called up. He scores his 6th of the season with 6.9 seconds left in the period. And that's the other thing about the second period. Now you're going into the 3rd period only down 1 goal because of that goal by Dylan Guenther.
And that's just
once again, an amazing shot.
Yep.
Like, his shot continues to be unreal. And then 2 minutes into the period, you let William Nylander out of the box on a breakaway, and boom, it's 5-3.
It's mental mistakes. Yeah. Because you talk about the Guenther goal, it's 6.9 seconds ago. It's a momentum changer, right? It's a momentum. And then it comes out with the power play to start the 3rd period, and you go, okay, down by a goal, we're in a good spot here. And then Vejmelka's banging his stick. Lucky he didn't break it in half, that the penalty's almost over, but apparently no one heard it. I don't know how you don't hear it in the Mullett, because you hear everything in the Mullett because it's the Mullett. And both defensemen get to the top of the circle. They have a little push at the net, and the puck just bounces out the center ice, and you let William Nylander. By the way, I'm going to go on a little William Nylander rant right now.
He and Jersey had beef.
There were a few times, and I think William Nylander's a good hockey player. I think he's got a very good shot. I think he's offensively gifted. All of those things are true. But he had it going with Jersey today, and there was a moment in the first period where he skates around the little scrum that was going on. And it ends up being a minor penalties for roughing with Jersey and Domi. But he skates around the back of the group, and he cross-checks Jersey in the back. And unfortunately, none of the referees saw it. And I said, it was so blatantly dirty when Domi had already squared off with Jersey. Like, what are you doing? And then it continued to be Nylander and Jersey for the remainder of the night. And he was just flat out dirty. And I was really surprised and disappointed to see that from William Nylander. So shame on you.
Yeah, they had beef all night.
They did. and luckily he got out of the way. Like, Krause was ready to rip somebody's head off.
Oh my God, I know.
It was like, he was hot.
I know.
And so was Bjugstad at one point was really hot. It's just Nylander got really tough when there was no tough people on the ice. And waited till the linesman had Jersey too. And then you got really tough. Way to go, William.
Oy. Well, not to pile on, this is now the 7th time in this 11-game losing streak the Coyotes have allowed 5 or more goals. I think we're all, and no offense to Veggie, I think we're all dying for Connor Ingram to get back in the lineup. Craig, I think, will have an update for us when he calls in momentarily. But yeah, this game had its moments for sure. It absolutely did, but it just continues to be an issue of not putting together a full 60 minutes, letting stupid mental mistakes dominate what could be a good moment. And when they kept making it a 1-goal game, I was like, Toronto is going to be in a mental pretzel. They continuously lose to the Coyotes. They're going to blow this. I really felt it. Yeah. And the Coyotes could have done it. That's it's frustrating. And maybe this sort of loss would be less frustrating if it wasn't the 11th straight loss. If this was just a random loss in February in a series of win-loss, but it's just the 11th straight. Well, I'm sorry that I'm really deflated tonight, but I just don't know what else to say.
Yeah,
this is hard.
But I do want to put one thing into perspective here. And I'm going to get on the Leafs rant later because it's not coming. But this is one thing. We talk about the Coyotes needing to play mistake-free. And they didn't. They did too many penalties. They made mental mistakes on the Nylander goal, and they can't play that way. Brown's not under stick on the first goal. They can't make mistakes and win. They can't. Other teams can make mistakes and can battle back offensively and put more numbers on the board than the mistakes that they created. The Coyotes aren't built that way right now. And we've talked about by the numbers. I want to give these numbers, because I think these numbers are incredibly important. We do not have this on a graphic. So if you have a piece of paper and a pencil at home, this would be the time, CWP, write these things down. The forwards on the Toronto Maple Leafs roster, their cap hit is $57 million. Yeah, you got that, Leah, in your head? $57 million. The Coyotes forward are $38 million.
That's a big difference.
That's almost $20 million in difference. So if the forwards, $20 million in forwards equates to 3 all-star forwards. 3 all-star forwards. 3 all-star forwards making between $6 and $7 million per player makes you even with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Defense, Toronto, $19 million. Arizona, $10 million. Double. And that's with a couple rookies, and they have some injuries because really with Giordano, that number could be way higher. So the margin for error on this Coyotes team is so small because everything is stacked against you when you play teams like this, or you play at Edmonton, or you play at Colorado. That financially you're just so behind the 8 ball, you cannot make mistakes. And so if you're going to have a payroll that is much lower than your opponent, then you need to play mistake-free hockey, and they can't do that, and they continually make those mistakes. That's why they're continually losing. Thank you. I just wanted to get that payroll thing out, just so people understand that the Coyotes aren't playing from an even playing field when they hit the ice at the start of the game. Thank you.
We have a couple super chats. The first one from Roaring Fork, $10. PD will have the whiteboard at Four Peaks on Sunday, and I really think he's going to need it. Come walk and watch with the diehards on Sunday and take in some in-game pack therapy. Yes, we're looking forward to that. This Sunday, a literal walk in the park at 2 p.m. in Tempe at Hole in the Rock at Papago, and then 4 p.m. at Four Peaks. Watch party. So that's going to be fun.
I can't wait.
Best part of that one is there will be alcohol.
There's alcohol. I can't wait.
So
alcohol, tendies, and some flatbread pizza. Can't wait.
And the pack for therapy.
The pack, buddy. And you know, Leah, once the game gets going and you think I rant in here? Wait while I'm there with a whiteboard, buddy. We're learning some hockey. People want to learn some hockey, be at Four Peaks.
Yep. And then Steven, $4.99, sending you guys good vibes for sticking it out through the hard times. Thank you, Steven. I'm going to take the $10 and the $4.99 and deposit it. Desert Financial Credit Union.
Yep.
You know, because Desert Financial Credit Union, you can do a checkings account, a savings account, get mortgages, loans, credit cards, investments, and more. And right now, of course, when you open a free checking account online, you get $200 in bonuses. Who wouldn't love an extra $200 right now? That's the pick-me-up I think we all need. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200.
And you want an extra $200? The other way to do it is hit the BetMGM Sportsbook app. Because the BetMGM Sportsbook app is the official sportsbook of PHNX. And I hope you did. I hope you heard today's bet show.
Oh my gosh. I'm on fire with my hockey
Leah
bets.
is on fire. And I hope you took Leah's advice. Because
Damon did.
Broke into the show and she said what, Leah?
I said Auston Matthews anytime.
And it paid. Auston Matthews anytime scores. Sports are more fun when we have skin in the game. Just like I did. Because I followed Leah's advice and I also got Auston Matthews as an anytime scorer. Unfortunately, Kerfoot didn't. So as they say, you can't win them all.
It's all good.
Get ready for the NHL playoff push. Get your Stanley Cup picks in now. Go to the MGM Sportsbook app and get all of your playoff futures for the NHL playoffs. Sign up for the BetMGM Sportsbook app. Use bonus code PHNX. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through BetMGM Sportsbook mobile application. For at least $5, you will receive $150 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for details. And now, listen to Damon talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. 778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms. This promotional offer is not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
All right. Well, let's bring him in. It's time. I'm very curious what the vibes in the locker room were.
Yeah. Hey, I'll just hide down here.
Yeah. I was going to say, stand on a phone book, Craig.
Hello, Craig.
What's the vibe in the locker room? What do you think, guys?
Probably not good.
By the way, the room cleared out really fast. We didn't wait very long, and there were just a couple players in there, and they were all moving out quickly. We talked to Barrett, Hayton. That was about it. What are you going to say? What are you going to ask at this point? It's the same questions Barrett, Hayton talked about. Their starts. And Andre said that we didn't even have that bad a start, but he did say you got to get a save, and we all know which save he's talking about because that Auston Matthews goal was just god-awful on Karel Vejmelka, and it changes the complexion of the game. But then the penalties, and not good penalties, not necessary penalties, just stupid penalties. It's just undisciplined hockey, and they're in one again. They battle back in the second, but you're chasing the game. It's just the same. This is Groundhog Day. Enough. enough. Figure it out. Figure out the starts so that you're not taking the dumb penalties. You're not giving up bad goals. You're not getting goals scored on you in the first 10 minutes of games. Stop. Put a stop to it. Somebody put a stop to it, because it's hard to watch night after night after night.
Yeah, and I think what happens too on the bench is when you see those things, Craig, when you see you're behind 2-0 5 minutes in and you take those penalties, it's very difficult on a bench to stay up. And you see the shoulders drop. And you know what I liken it to is that first year that we started this show, the PHNX Coyotes show started a couple years ago, and it was in that first 10, 15 game stretch where they just struggled.
They lost 11 straight then too.
And you could just see that on the bench. Like, you just see guys, like, it's over. Like, the game was over 10 minutes in. They didn't battle back 2 years ago. At least this year, you see a little fight here and there. You saw them strike back in the second period again today. But it's just that same dejected feeling, and it's the same mistakes that are occurring over and over again. It's getting really frustrating.
Yeah.
No argument.
Well, and something that Alex Kerfoot said this morning at the morning skate was, when you're losing like this, sometimes you're almost just like waiting for something to go wrong, like waiting for something bad to happen. And it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point. And they had it within their sights. They pulled within one like 2 different times. They could have done it. And I said it earlier, like the Leafs, they don't win against the Coyotes generally. This one I felt like was almost even more of the Coyotes lost the game than Toronto won it. Like,
yeah, and you had the big break that they get, that, you know, just as the power play expires, the puck squirts out of the zone and Willie Nylander's on a breakaway. It's just the way things go during these streaks, right? You just don't get any breaks, and they're certainly not getting any breaks, but they're not helping themselves either.
Craig, I think the big question we all have, and sorry, Veggie, but when is Ingy back? Like, please, Ingram, please. I saw him sitting on the double deck tonight. I was like, please come back.
Yeah, Bill Armstrong told me he's going to be on this trip, so they'll have both their goalies back, which means Matt Villalta will go back to Tucson. So they'll have their complement of goaltenders. I don't know that Connor Ingram's going to play on Sunday in Winnipeg. That's probably still Karel Vejmelka's. He's had some success against Winnipeg, as we know, in the past too. So that's probably his game, and then Connor Ingram can work his way back in. But like, when we look down the road, guys, I mean, there are some games that are winnable on this road trip. And before this streak started, we would have looked at a lot of them. But now, like, you wonder at the confidence level of this team. I don't see it getting any better in Winnipeg. They don't match up well against that team, so we're probably talking about a 12-game streak heading into Montreal. And you know, I asked Andre about this after the game tonight, and he just kind of brushed it off a little bit, like understanding, yeah, it's all coming, but we gotta focus on the task at hand and somehow block out all the noise that's going to be coming their way when they hit the major Canadian markets of Montreal and Toronto. It's not just going to be about this losing streak. It's going to be questions about the arena, and of course the trade deadline is just around the corner too. So they've got this just perfect storm, this trio of major distractions that could potentially derail the team on this road trip as well.
Yeah, Winnipeg has been one of those buildings that's just been a difficult place for the Coyotes team to play. Less that unbelievable 50 save shutout by Vejmelka, you know, in his first shutout of his career, where he was the difference in the game. But that's a tough building, and I just don't see it the way the Winnipeg Jets are playing right now and the confidence they have in their own building. I just don't see it ending there, so I'm very concerned. And to Craig's point, once this team has clearly shown that they haven't been able to get over those emotional hurdles, and it started with the letter from the Ryan Smith group out of Salt Lake City, and they haven't won a game since then. Well, add on top of that, now they're going to start talking about which players are going to leave the locker room, and they're going to hear it. When they get to Toronto, they're going to hear, well, this guy or that guy, or this guy might be a fit in Toronto, or Matt Dumba would really be looking on our back end, or what about Jason Jarky? You know, Nick Smoltz might be able to help our secondary scoring. It's all coming. And then they've already shown they can't get through those little mental hurdles, and now you're going to pile that on, and you're going to pile the Canadian media on it. Man, I don't know if this bodes well. Can they get a win on this trip? Yeah, of course they can. I mean, it's Montreal and Ottawa are on this. I know, and they're not powerhouses like Winnipeg and Toronto are. The Washington Capitals, hey, they've had decent luck in Washington too. So there are winnable games, and I hope that they end the streak before they get home. But the dark clouds are going to follow this team for a little bit.
Yeah, no question about it, Petey. Hey, by the way, sorry about this light shining on the side of my face. I think the sun is rising because this show is so late.
Oh, it's truly
It's
approaching
truly
midnight.
almost midnight. Like Craig said, it was almost midnight. It was 8.
Approaching Midnight needs to be the name of the brunch band's first
is that
album.
a good band? I like that band
Approaching
name.
Midnight?
Approaching Midnight. I love it. Starring Craig Morgan on vocals. Approaching Midnight. I like it. Craig, I'm going to take us on a different rant. I know we're going to talk about the Arizona-born player who's done really good, but Shelby had a comment earlier about the ownership here. And there's been a little, I don't know if you've seen the chat, but there's been some of the chat going back and forth about, they said, stop with the Alex Meruelo hate. After what Ken Kendrick said, I'm very grateful we have an owner who is at least trying. So my question to you is Alex Meruelo trying?
That's a funny take, and I was just talking about this with someone else because you'll notice there was some defense of Ken Kendrick in local media. Ken Kendrick said what he said. He was very intentional about it. When the owner of a franchise threatens relocation, yes, it is a threat. Whether it has any teeth behind it or not, it's still a threat. At least the Morellos know, they have the sense to say we're committed to Arizona now. Maybe some of their actions haven't exactly backed that lately, at least the execution of those actions. But yeah, they've said all along that they're committed to this market. And guys, I know we've been talking about the arena a lot, and I don't want to dwell on this, but my sense right now with the way things are with the league, and of course things can change because it's the Coyotes. God knows it could change tomorrow. But my sense right now is I think the league's going to let them get to this auction process. I think they're going to wait to see that it's on the agenda, first of all, on March 14th. I think they're going to let them get to this auction and see what happens from there. So I guess for the Meruelo group, that's a positive step if it actually plays out that way. Again, I want to attach all the potential qualifiers I can because this story is so fluid. But that is my sense right now. I think they're going to have a chance to at least complete this.
So if it gets on the agenda and if the auction comes to pass in June 19th or the middle of June, I didn't mean June 19th, the middle of June. If it gets in the middle of June, then am I correct in saying, and this, I'm going to put it right on him right now, then it's up to Alex Meruelo to bring his checkbook to the auction and just, it's the ball is in your court, as it were. The auction is here.
Yeah. Let's just state it plainly. Yeah, let's just say it plainly. If you get to the auction and you don't win it, that's on you. And at that point, all bets are off. I think the league's well within its rights. I think everybody would say it's reasonable at that point to say, enough. We're done. We're done with you. You've had your chances. You didn't execute. You need to win that auction. That's how it should go. And it should be stated in no uncertain terms. Win the auction, Alex, or stop talking about being committed to Arizona or anything else. Win the damn auction.
Yep. There you have it. Well, while we're on the subject of hockey in Arizona, let's talk about Auston Matthews, the prodigal son of Arizona hockey, returns and, of course, as it was written, scores not only his 50th goal of the season, but his 51st, becoming the fastest U.S.-born player to reach 50 goals in a season. He's 26 years old, by the way.
Yeah.
And he is, I know he wasn't born here, people who want to argue that with me, but he grew up here.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, he moved when he was a baby from San Ramon, California. So yes, he's basically an Arizona native, although you can't say it specifically. I am blown away by this kid, just blown away. He's, Alex Ovechkin is obviously on his way out. We still kind of hope that he gets the Gretzky record. But Auston Matthews is pretty clearly becoming the greatest goal scorer of this era. He's on pace. I don't know what his pace is now. I think it's 77 now that he's on pace for. I think he has 9 goals in his last 4 games. Only 8 players. It's happened on more occasions to, like Gretzky's done it a few times. Only 8 players in the history of the NHL have scored 70 goals, and that's what he's on pace for. And who wants to bet against him with what he's doing right now? Yeah, an Arizona product. Could be the 9th player in NHL history to score 70 goals and join the likes of Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky and Yari Curry and just absurd names on that list. It's so good.
It's so impressive to see what he is doing. And someone in the chat also said should add a hattie. Oh, Philip said it should have been a hattie. He had that backhand swat out of the air.
Would have been his 7th.
Would have been a hattie. You look at and you said is on pace right now for 77. There are 3 players that have 80. Three players in the history of the game. Wayne Gretzky did it 3 times, so that's one. Brett Hall and Teemu Selanne. And you could say American Arizona raised Auston Matthews to put in that same breath. He's the fastest American to 50 goals in the history of the game. So he's going to be one of the greatest American goal scorers of all time. From where? Born in California, but raised in the streets of Arizona. Became a hockey player because of the Arizona Coyotes. Wore a Kachina jersey when he was a little kid. If not for the Arizona Coyotes being here in the desert, Auston Matthews is not playing hockey. End.
Yep.
End of story. So I've said this before. I don't understand why the Canadian fans hate Arizona so much when they prodigal son to Toronto, the guy that is leading the charge to potentially get them their first cup. Well, they're not going to win the cup, but I'll talk about that later. But they think they have a chance of winning the cup. He's an Arizona kid. They should be thanking us. And by the way, while I'm saying that, did you see the number of blue jerseys in the stands? There were a lot. There were not a lot. Yeah. There were a lot, right?
Probably a little bit more than 50%.
Lot. Do you think they're flying? They're going to Hamilton or they're going to Quebec City and, hey, let's all go have a bachelor party in Quebec City? Hell no. They're going to Arizona where it's 80 degrees and sunny. They're going golfing. They're putting their blue jersey on, and they're spending less on a ticket here, which is, by the way, moderately expensive, but cheaper here than it is in Toronto. And they're 13 rows from the best players in the world, and they're mad about that. Like, I don't. What are you mad about? Like, you should be thrilled. Like, do you want to go to Salt Lake City in the middle of February, buddy? You don't, because guess what? It ain't 80. So why? So stop hating at it. Like, because you want to have your vacations here. You want to go to the games. You want to put on your blue jersey and see your team here in Arizona, because half the team, well, at least 2/3 of the top line is from here.
Yeah, Matty Nyes, and then by the way. Brad Treliving was the assistant GM here, and Shane Doan, of course, is a Coyote by blood at this point. So
thank you for the rant.
You're welcome, Toronto.
Apologize.
Yeah, you're welcome, Toronto is correct. Brett said Leafs ticks are like 300 minimum, because even tonight, like, you can get in for under 200, but that's still
so pricey. But there were the atmosphere there was really cool. You know what it reminded me of for a moment there, because with the Let's Go Leafs and then it was Let's Go Coyotes. It was almost like a college game where the combative crowds were yelling back and forth amongst each other. It was really kind of cool. I didn't actually hate it. It was kind of fun. It's an exciting building to watch a game in. I know Matty Nyes may not agree, but I think it's kind of cool.
Oops.
All right. Craig, anything else before we let you go?
Nope. Looking forward to Friday's show, guys. We have no idea what we're talking about.
We're just going to have fun.
I do know that I'm going to be wearing my ketchup socks tomorrow on the air, so you can look forward to that.
Not tomorrow, Craig.
Friday.
Friday. Gosh, yes, Friday. Sorry.
I know you wanted more shows.
Tomorrow,
we're not having.
We can tell people who we're talking about tomorrow. We're talking.
Well, we think
tomorrow,
so.
Even though we have no idea when the show's running because Leah Merrill decides all this, and we just do whatever she tells us.
It's going to be a great show.
So
tune in sometime.
So our audio only episode this week. Let's just say that.
Yeah, we'll say
that. A conversation with Josh Doan, who was at the game tonight. By the way, he was very popular on the concourse, of course. Great to see him tonight. We're going to catch up with him on an audio-only episode of the show, so be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast so you don't miss that. But so, with everything going on with the Coyotes right now, if you want to look at some winning ways, you can look to Tucson, and we're going to chat with Josh. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I also have a story on Steve Potvin running on Friday. Let me say that Friday, which is not tomorrow. So, but
Craig's got to figure out that whole day thing. It is.
Yeah, it is. It's approaching midnight.
I might sleep here tonight. We don't have a show till Friday. No, I'm not sleeping here tonight.
You guys. All right, Craig.
Tomorrow's Friday.
Bye.
Almost.
Have a good one, Craig. Drive safe.
Oh, yeah. We're going to need some OGs to get to bed tonight. I need some OGs.
Sleep edition.
I need some OGs after today, which I'll get to in just a minute. But OGs, gummies, Happy Balance, Indica, Sativa,
Sleep edition.
Microdose, Sleep edition.
We don't need the Sleep edition today.
The big OGs, the vegan gummies, whatever your need is from a gummy, OGs has it, and they have it in a delicious package. So check out OGs. They're locally made here in Arizona. To learn more about OGs gummies and where you can find them, head on over to ogsbrands.com. And now
Danielle's been busy.
This rant is brought to you by oh geez.
And
Circle
your
K.
friends at Circle K. The following rant is brought to you by our friends at Circle K, Leah.
All right, I'm going on a rant here because I have beef with the PHNX staff.
And she's not wrong.
And Petey, there is an imposter among us here at the PHNX studios. We have a thief. There's an imposter among us. Who can it be?
Who is the imposter?
Who is the imposter? Here's the story.
You got to set it up. And thank you to our diehards, CWP and Chris. Thank you.
So CWP and Chris were so generous. Delivered a Valentine's Day basket to this office. Personalized, show by show. They were so thoughtful in picking out the snacks, okay?
Yes.
And we addressed this on yesterday's show. We gave them credit. The basket was on our set the entire show.
Amazing.
In the Coyotes basket.
Wonderful.
We had 3 sleeves of donuts, a giant bag of kettle-cooked chips,
course.
Petey's favorite.
Yes.
2 bags of movie theater popcorn and M&Ms for me.
Leah's favorite.
And then Fun Dip for Danielle and the rest of us. Okay? That was our basket.
Everybody's happy. Everybody got their favorites.
I thought that is so
Perfect.
thoughtful.
Thanks, CWP.
They really
and Chris.
thought about the snacks, okay? So that was yesterday.
Do they know what happened yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
Craig takes home his 3 sleeves of donuts.
Brilliant move. I was not here because I was not on the show.
So Craig leaves. Petey hasn't been here since last week.
Not here.
I get to the office late this afternoon.
Yes. How were those M&Ms? There's our basket.
You know what's in there? A half-eaten bag of kettle-cooked classic chips from Circle K.
Open.
And half-eaten. You know what else was in there? An open, half-eaten bag of popcorn. You know what wasn't in there? M&Ms. Where'd they go? So I call everybody out on Slack.
Yep.
Who took it? No one fessed up. And I know it's someone here. So PHNX employees, come forward. And D-Bax is also claiming that someone ate their salted caramel chocolate bar.
See, I'm wondering, though, because Derek said stuff was stolen from his basket. I'm wondering if maybe Derek did this and he stole stuff from his own basket to set it up so it's not him looking like the guilty party. I will say this. CWP and Chris, everybody knows how much I like my Circle K. My plain kettle cooked. Love them. Have them every second period. And you know what? I haven't done it since they've been winning. And they're half-eaten, bag open. Now here, I'm sorry to Circle K. I'm not going to eat a half-open bag of chips that are open because I'm not quite sure whose hands were digging in there.
Because nobody will fess up.
Exactly. So I'm not sure whose hands were in that, so they're going to remain half empty. Chris, sorry. There's going to be a half-open bag of chips because they didn't. But at Circle K, it's not just a thirst stop or a gas stop. It is also a snack stop, and stop eating our snacks.
The fact that we're so fired up about it,
I'm pissed.
But it shows how much we love Circle K
those Circle K
snacks.
snacks.
Like, that is really the bottom line.
Yeah, so after this, I have to go to the gas station and hit the gas stop because I am just hit a quarter tank. So
yeah, we all know
true.
That's
I am going to do that. So so what you got to do is you got to join the new free membership program, the Inner Circle. So you save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, saves 3 cents per gallon on every fill-up after that. Get every 6th item free of a selection of Circle K products, from the pizza to the coffee to the ice cold fountain drinks. So join the Inner Circle by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. And please just fess up because I might have emptied out the Suns basket today. Just for fun.
just to try and stir things up.
You know who you are.
All right.
Okay.
See, that I was more fired up for that conversation than anything about this.
Yeah, the Leafs. I mean, how are you fired up about the Leafs? We already talked about their payrolls.
It's
double.
time for a Petey rant. Here we go.
Okay, here's the deal with the Leafs, and I'm going to say it like it is. The Toronto Maple Leafs. First of all, are they going to win the Stanley Cup in 2024? Everybody can take a deep sigh and a deep breath because the answer is no.
Even though yesterday Craig and I said it would be great if they did.
No. I know they love their team in Toronto, but here's the problem with Toronto Maple Leafs, and you can see it again with their goaltending again tonight, where you gave up a 3-goal lead against a very average offensive team in the Arizona Coyotes, and you gave up that lead, and you don't have a goaltender. Samsonov's not going to take you there, and I'm sorry, you had all summer to get a goalie, and you still don't have that goalie. You also know what you don't have? Defending. You can't defend. You cannot win a Stanley Cup unless you can defend, and Toronto doesn't have a good enough 6 defensemen on this team. They don't. Morgan Rielly's out with a suspension. I get it. He'll be back, but it's not enough. They don't have that bottom 6 guy that's going to be the gritty guy that can kill penalties, win faceoffs, block shots. They think it's Max Domi. I love Max Domi. It's not Max Domi. Max Domi in those key games last year against Dallas and Vegas, Max Domi was the guy that was in the penalty box. Toronto Maple Leafs are not going to win the Stanley Cup. And you know the biggest reason they're not going to win the Stanley Cup? Do you know the path they have to go to get to the Stanley Cup? Right now, if the playoffs started today, they play the Boston Bruins in the opening round. In 2 weeks from now, after Boston jumps back over Florida, you know, if they play in the first round, they'd have to play Florida. Oh, and if Tampa goes on a little bit of winning streak, you know, they have to play Tampa. So you're going to have to play Boston, Tampa, or Florida in the first round. Toronto doesn't make it out of the first round.
Ooh.
Calling it here today. Toronto, first round
Write down
exit.
the time.
First round exit again. Toronto Maple Leafs 2024. It's over. Winnipeg Jets make it farther than the Toronto Maple Leafs in 2024.
Wow, you heard it here first.
Receipts.
There you go. You stood by that.
Okay.
Sorry,
Brad Treliving and I know Brett wants Boston, but don't want Boston, buddy. They defend extremely well, and their goaltending tandem is the best tandem in the NHL. You don't want Boston in the first round. They can't beat Boston in a 7-game series. Honestly, if I'm Toronto, I want Tampa. I think you have the best chance against Tampa. Florida's going to roll them. Florida might sweep them.
Florida is unreal.
They're a wagon right now, and you don't want Boston. Boston's got a grudge from last year.
Were you the dislike just now?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's fair. He can dislike it because they're not going against him.
By the way, there's so many people watching and not enough likes, so please hit the like button. And there was a great theory, I think it was Paul, who said, perhaps it was the magician eating the snacks. And that's a good point because he is probably unemployed. He can't afford groceries.
They might not be wrong.
He might be sneaking into the office and eating all the snacks. They might not
be wrong. We trust me. During this road trip,
this is the most we've seen of him in weeks.
We are going to do a wellness check on the magician during this road trip. So just stay tuned to the PHNX YouTube channel because we're going to do a wellness check.
Yep, we absolutely are. We do have one other super chat. I just want to make sure, that I didn't miss it. And I think this is the one that started the conversation about leaving Alex Meruelo alone. But blatantly asinine said the problem with this team rhymes with Carmelo. So there you go. That's what started that conversation.
Gotcha.
All right, let's decide when.
Brett, we're not teasing it, Brett. We love
Brett,
Toronto Maple Leafs
we
fans.
really appreciate you
Leah's
being
from
here.
Toronto.
I'm from Toronto. I really appreciate you being here.
Yes.
They play again next week, so I hope.
And maybe back. I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I just look at it at the hockey side. The way they're going to win is they're going to have to outscore teams 7-5. They have the offense to do that. Nylander can score at will. Auston Matthews, we've seen, can do it. I think Matty Nice is going to be a big playoff player because he's a big body that can get to the net. So they have some pieces. I'm just saying to win a Stanley Cup, so many things have to fall right, and you need to have that perfect mix. And one of the big things you need is defending. I don't think Toronto has it. So, Brett, thanks for tuning in.
Okay, let's take a look at the upcoming schedule and decide when we think the Coyotes are going to end this drought. Couple days off here from games, and someone in Discord earlier said the good news about the next 3 days is the Coyotes can't lose. Tough but true. Winnipeg this Sunday. We'll, of course, be watching that one at Four Peaks. So please join us. Petey's bringing the whiteboard. We're going to eat. We're going to drink. We're going to talk hockey and watch that one all together. Then it's on to Montreal, which I think we can probably circle as one of the winnable games. Thursday, it's back to Toronto. Can Toronto win 2 against this team? I don't know, because the Coyotes haven't lost in regulation in Toronto since the year Matty Nice was born.
That's true.
And then Friday against the Senators. And depending on if you're looking for a win or a loss in that one, depending on how the upside down standings are going, that'll be an interesting one.
Yeah, and I think when you start looking at draft picks and the possibility for the draft and the Coyotes wanting to clearly at this point get the best draft pick they possibly can, you're looking at right now they're 6th and they're in 27th, but they're only 1 point ahead of the Ottawa Senators. The Ottawa Senators have 3 games in hand and they play head-to-head.
And Columbus won tonight, and they're only 4 points away from Columbus.
If they won tonight, then it's 2, or is that updated?
It's updated.
Okay, so that's 4 points. It's doable. Columbus has a game in hand. This team could finish 4th to last. I don't think. I just don't think Anaheim.
This is what's going to happen.
Yes.
Because this is the Coyotes' way. They're going to trade a bunch of guys at the deadline,
Yes.
and we're going to look at the roster and say,
No
oh
chance.
my God, they're never going to win again. And then they're going to win like 6 in a row.
Yep.
And ruin
Yep.
their chance at picking in the top 10.
Yep.
Because that's what the team did
That's the Coyote
last
way.
year.
That is the Coyote way. It's funny, though, that a year ago we said, oh, my gosh, Bedard, and then they get 6th. And this year we're like playoffs, and they could get 4th.
Maybe that's the
Isn't that
mentality
insane?
we need to have.
Isn't that insane? They had all that joy and fun in the first year, or the first calendar year, at the end of the calendar year, with their playoff spot, January. And they could get 4th to last and pick 4th and have a better opportunity to pick 1st. Like Macklin Celebrini could realistically be an Arizona Coyote after this season.
I'm gonna do a take.
I'm here for it. Okay, sorry.
Okay, I just ran a simulator. The Coyotes dropped 2, but they dropped to 7th.
Yeah, which is still what?
If you remember, they were like sticking at 7th. Now they're 5th.
Yep, I'm telling you. There you go. And the charity event is tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
The waiters.
Yes,
somebody go there and give us an update. Because we just can't.
It's at Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse
You
Pass.
do you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we can't go.
it's all
We
good.
can't.
I know.
We have things.
All right, let's take a look at the punch card. I'm scared. I'm very scared. Oh my God, it's getting so bad. It's so red.
Can they go 2 complete rows? Can they?
That would be
yeah.
18 straight losses.
What's the record? Craig had it for us too. We forgot to ask.
Winnipeg Jets had 30 in like the 70s.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, I know. I wonder, like in the cap era, what it is. If someone wants to look that up for us,
Yeah.
it's 11:39 at night. So please forgive me for not knowing that off the top of
We
my
did
head.
know it earlier. We did know it earlier in the day. We did.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
What?
James got first after running 3.
Gotta go,
Shelby
James.
got first on the first try. Charles got second.
So there's a chance. So you're saying there's a chance.
And yes, Christopher, we are planning the Vegas draft diehard trip. And actually, Bill asked me today, shout out Bill if you're watching, we are meeting about it this week. So hopefully more information to come on
June
the
28th,
Vegas
29th in
draft
Vegas at the Sphere.
It's happening.
We're probably going to stay at my sister's house. Not the diehards, but me. The diehards can't stay. I guess they could.
They could, but
probably,
that
I don't think my
doesn't
sister
sound
would like that.
Charles said 15 is the Arizona record in 03-04.
Okay.
So thank you, Charles. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that is definitely in danger.
By the way, it's 1:39 a.m. on
Brett,
the East
I don't stay up
Coast.
till 1:39.
So thank
Ever.
you, everyone on the East Coast.
I will not stay up till
Thank you.
1:39.
Thank you for
1:39
staying
too?
up. And if you're listening the next day because you don't want to stay
Are we
up,
giving anybody flowers?
we appreciate it. Who deserves flowers?
I don't know. Do we forget any flowers?
Barrett Hayton is 200th career game. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's flowers. Anybody else get flowers today?
Auston Matthews gets flowers.
He does get flowers. I'm Arizona native. Anybody else? Matias Maccelli, we gave him to him already.
Guenther,
Jersey
we
was
did.
got in a little battle. That was fun watching him fire with a little bit of heat and a little spice, as my friend Leah calls it. A little spice.
A little
with
spicy.
William Nylander. Wait, is that it?
That's all I got.
That's all I got. It's really late.
It's really late. Let's wrap up. We do have one piece of good news though. If you've been here since the first day of this, you know that we've had a lot of producers on this show.
Yeah, I forgot about this.
It started with Shane. I know he's here.
The Defense Locks
Then
here.
it was Aaron. Then it was Sean. Now it's Danielle. But we have exciting news about Aaron Slinderella, if you will. And she is the voice of Rebuild Reminder.
And a lot of people don't remember the Rebuild
And
Reminder.
you know what? Maybe today is a perfect time for a Rebuild Reminder.
It probably is.
Aaron Slindy's engaged. So we wanted to say congratulations to Aaron and her fiance on their engagement. Saw that on social media. Very happy for her. She's absolutely thriving in Oregon. And we
Congratulations to Slinderella.
Yeah, we want to.
Yeah,
give
she was
her
a great.
shout out.
She was. I almost said a great producer, but that would have been lying. Sorry, Cindy. I mean, she wasn't. She didn't want to be a producer. She wanted to be on air, and so she's
she's
crushed
on
it.
air. And look what happened.
She's on air. And
She
she's
moved to
crushing it.
Oregon. She followed her dream. She met her dream guy, and now they're engaged.
And she's crushing
And
it on
she
air.
will always be the one to give us a rebuild reminder.
Yeah, we
So
have
there
it
you
somewhere.
go.
We'll pull it out. Let's pull it out on Friday, just for fun.
Yes, we
So
absolutely
congratulations
should.
to Slenderella.
Yes.
She's fantastic, and she was there in the growing pains of
Yeah,
PHNX,
like the very beginning.
like when we first got started.
The
So congratulations to her.
Aaron Slindy produced the first ever post-game show
Is that true?
of PHNX Coyotes.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, see, there you go. So
Anyway,
congratulations.
some people were saying in the chat that they've been here since I was beer.
Wow.
I will be beer on Sunday at 4 Peaks.
Yes.
Beer.
Can't wait.
So once again, please join us this Sunday, 4 p.m. at 4 Peaks for a watch party. We're going to watch
What
the
time?
Coyotes 4 p.m. 4
Easy to
p.m.
remember. 4 Peaks. Goes
4
together.
p.m. at 4 Peaks.
At
Join
8th
us.
Street,
Ooh, there
which
you
is
go.
4 plus 4.
I think I'm leaning peach right now.
No. Kilt. I'm
okay.
kilt lifter
I mean,
all
there's
day.
something for everyone. That's
Do
the
they
best
have-
part about
Do they have
4
Uber?
Peaks.
I'm kilt lifter if it's Uber.
4 Peaks. Swing by. It's going to be a blast. Visit 4peaks.com/locator to find all your favorite beers and events. Check out at 4 Peaks Brew or at 4 Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. You must be 21 or older to drink 4 Peaks.
And speaking of home, is your
And please enjoy responsibly.
is your home see, that's what they rolled over. The ads rolled. It's your home ready for an upgrade. Have your kids and pets worn a track in your old outdated carpeting? Well, then it's time for Empire Today. With Empire Today, you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation. Working with Empire Today is easy, quick, and convenient. Speed and service that you won't get at a big box store. Empire Today's virtual floor designer is a great way to see how new floors will look in any space. It's easy. Just snap a picture and see how the new floors will look in your room. Check it out at empiretoday.com/PHNX. Schedule a free at-home estimate today. All listeners can receive $350 off discount when they use the promo code PHNX. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/PHNX for details. And it is almost midnight. So that's
It's
really hard for me
approaching-
to
it's
get
approaching
through that.
midnight.
It's approaching midnight. I'm not up at midnight, like ever.
Yeah, well, I liked the 2 p.m. game on Monday.
I did too. I
That
know.
was fun. Hey, at least they're heading to Canada. They're going to be on the East. It's a lot of early starts. So this
Good
was
point.
the last 8 o'clock start of the season.
Yes.
We made it, everyone.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
You know what? I a couple things from this one, and I'll make it really quick. This is Toronto Maple Leafs. They're a really good hockey team. And you knew with Auston Matthews coming into this game with 49 goals in his home state of Arizona, you knew he was going to get 50, and everybody is going to feed him to get that 50th goal. You had to think it was going to happen today. That team played very hard for one of their leaders, and I think that showed today. That's a good team. And I think the Coyotes showed glimpses again of what they're capable of doing. I think there were several moments in this game where they were the better team. Unfortunately, they just can't sustain it for 60 minutes right now. And I think that's the difference. I think there were a lot of positives, again, to take away from this. I think their ability to come back after being down 3-0 to a very, very good team. I think that's a good positive to take away from today. It's just got to continue to work on those things we talked about before. We got to talk about the penalties and the bad starts. So it'll start again when this team plays the Winnipeg Jets on Sunday when we're all sitting at 4 Peaks talking about it.
Can't wait.
Can't
for
wait.
that. Absolutely can't wait. And join us at 2 p.m. for our Walking and Talking at Hole in the Rock at Papago Park. That's 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Come and enjoy. Come to one. Come to both.
Come to both.
They're free.
Walk.
It's a free to RSVP.
We're going to walk and
free
talk.
to
So with
attend.
that, I think I'm bringing the microphone, and I think I'm literally walking and talking. I think so.
Okay. There
I
you
think,
go.
by the way, there might be a walking and talking tomorrow.
There might be. Stick around.
Stick
for
around.
that.
And Brett might be interested because it might be an old Toronto Maple Leaf that we're walking and talking with.
Ooh.
We'll see.
So make sure you subscribe to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel because it's not just our live shows on there. We have all the extra content as well, like Walking and Talking, for example.
Yep.
And be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss our conversation with Josh Doan this week. We have weekly audio-only episodes, so you must subscribe to the podcast to get those. Listen, this wasn't the most fun we've had on a Toronto Maple Leafs postgame show.
It is not.
Historically, these have been some of the most
Yes.
fun postgame shows
Thank
we've
you,
done.
Leafs.
You know, you can't sustain success forever. We can try again next week and we'll see how it goes. But everybody, thanks so much for being here as it is approaching midnight. Hit the thumbs up button on this video before you head
it's
out,
late.
whether you're live or you're watching later. We sincerely appreciate it. And you can follow us on Twitter at SPetersHockey, at Craig S. Morgan, at Leah Merrill, at Abracadanielle. You can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes. Off tomorrow. We'll be live Friday at 2 p.m. Have a great rest of your night, everyone, and we'll see you then.
We all silly like the mayor.